Hello everyone, welcome back to AutoTrend TV. I'm your Prajesh again from Tafe Access Limited Tata Car Showroom today. And this video is especially for people who are confused between the top spec XZ variant of the Tata Altroz and the XM mid-spec variant of the Tata Nexon. While both these cars are of different segments, both the Tata Nexon XM and the Tata Altroz XZ variants fall in the same price range. So this video is for you to decide which one should you pick depending on your requirements and needs. First of all, let's talk about exterior design. The Tata Altroz is Tata Motors' new premium hatchback and is extremely good looking. You get a very sharp design overall, and this top spec XZ variant also receives projector headlamps, LED DRLs, front cornering fog lamps, along with the piano black finished front grille. Moving on towards the sides, you get to see these very beautiful looking 16-inch machine finished alloy wheels, and apart from that the ORVMs also get subtle chrome detailing. The Altroz also gets this piano black belt line running along the window line, which completes the side profile. Coming towards the back, the Tata Altroz gets split tail lamps, and the rear profile itself looks quite futuristic with the piano black treatment for the top half. This top spec variant receives a rear fog lamp mounted on the rear bumper and a reverse parking camera located at the center of the tailgate. This car also gets a rear wiper washer and defogger, completing the overall look of the Tata Altroz. A key design highlight of the Tata Altroz is the availability of wide 90-degree opening doors, which really aids in ingress and egress of elderly passengers. This can also be helpful in fitting child seats. This, folks, is the Tata Altroz top spec XZ variant, and it is easily one among the best looking cars in the Indian market. Now let's have a look at the Tata Nexon XM variant. The Tata Nexon 2 has received a facelift recently along with an updated feature list. This BS6 XM variant looks pretty butch and muscular and resembles the Land Rover Discovery from the front. All the variants of the new BS6 Tata Nexon gets projector headlamps with LED DRLs. However, front fog lamps are available only from the XZ variant onwards. Meanwhile, this XM variant does not receive front fog lamps. Moving on towards the sides, the Tata Nexon XM variant receives 16-inch steel wheels with full-size wheel covers with 195 section tires. However, the XE and the XM variants of the Tata Nexon do not receive body-colored ORVMs or body-colored door handles. The Tata Nexon also receives a contrast beltline color scheme, with the white-colored Nexon receiving a grey beltline. Now, roof rails are standard from the XM variant itself, lending the Nexon a purposeful look. At the back too, the Nexon looks pretty unique, with the restyled LED tail lamps getting the tri-arrow design element integrated into them, and the bold Nexon lettering at the center of the tailgate. Being the mid-spec variant, you do not receive a reverse parking camera, whereas 2 reverse parking sensors are standard across all variants. This here is a quick look at the side profile of the Nexon XM variant. This facelifted Nexon is easily one among the best looking compact SUVs in the Indian market. Now let's have a look at the interior of both these cars. Yes folks, right now I'm inside the new BS6 compliant 2020 Tata Nexon XM variant, and this is how the interior looks like. This is one variant above the entry-level XE variant of the Nexon range, but still you get all the essential features as standard on this variant itself. Let's start with the steering wheel. Of course, this here is the very same flat bottom steering wheel seen on the Tata Altroz. However, you do not get steering mounted audio controls, and yeah, of course you also get the very same horn buttons on the further edges of the steering rim, which is easy to use, similar to the Tata Altroz. Now coming to the instrument cluster, this here is the same instrument cluster seen on the Tiago and the Tigor. On the top spec XZ Plus S and the XZ Plus optional variants of the Nexon, you get tire pressure monitoring system included in this instrument cluster itself, but this being one among the base variants, you do not get that feature. However, you get all the essential details and information you need, such as instantaneous efficiency, average distance to empty, average mileage, trip meter A, trip meter B, external temperature gauge. This here is the odometer on the left side, above is the time, and you of course get multiple drive mode displays as well. Talking about multiple drive modes, all variants of the Tata Nexon come as standard with 3 multiple drive modes, namely the City, Economy and Sport. The City mode basically is the normal mode in which the car actually starts. Whenever you start the car, this car will be in City mode, and if you change to Economy mode, of course the display shows Economy mode. and this basically reduces the engine's power to its lowest so that you could get maximum economy. This mode is best for relaxed cruising on highways and free roads. The next mode obviously is the sport mode, where you get the full potential of the 120 horsepower available in this car with a torque figure of 170 Newton meters, so that you can easily overtake and you can easily drive on up hills. So that is all about the multiple drive modes. Talking about transmission, you get 6-speed manual transmission as standard on all variants. However, you also get an option of a 6-speed AMT gearbox on the XM, namely this variant that is called the XMA, if it has an automatic transmission. On the XMA, on the XZA Plus, there is also the XZA Plus S and the XZA Plus optional. So those are the automatic variants of the Tata Nexon. And coming to the features which are present in this car, you of course get headlamp stock, which is again quite similar to the stock seen on the Tata Altroz. The quality is exactly the same. It is robust, it is nice, and it has a nice damp feel to it, so that is nice. However, even though you do not get front fog lamps, you get LED DRLs, which you can turn off by switching back and forth on and off on this headlamp stock. So as you can see, this here is the LED DRL indication. If you do that twice, you can turn it on and off as you want, so that is also very nice. You also get a headlamp leveler on the stock itself. On the right side of the steering wheel, you do not get any sort of buttons. However, you get this nice storage pocket, which is good enough for your coins or toll tickets or something, so that is nice. The wiper stock is also quite similar. You also get intermittent setting over here, so that is nice. Only the top spec variants get automatic headlamps and automatic wipers on the Tata Nexon. So coming to the center console, of course, this here is the very same 2-DIN Harman Connect Next system, which gets 4 speakers on this XM variant, and they sound really very good for stock system. However, it is no match to the 8-speaker system available on the XZ Plus variant onwards. Even the XZ variant gets 8 speakers, which is 1 variant above this variant, so that is nice. But still, this system also gets Bluetooth connectivity. It also gets connectivity for Navi Maps, for turn-by-turn navigation. Basically, you have to pair your smartphone using the USB port to activate Navi Maps, so that is also fine. And you get the manual controls for the infotainment system over here on the dash. So that was all about the infotainment system. Now let's come to the climate control. As you can see, this here is a manual AC console of the XM variant. Automatic climate control is available only on the XZ Plus variant, but still this manual AC is good enough for throw, and it cools the cabin very, very fast. Even though this car does not get rear AC vents, the cooling from these front vents are good enough, and they work exceptionally well. Coming lower down, you get this sort of a strip where you get a lot of dummy buttons. On the top spec variants, you usually used to get front fog lamp and other controls over here, including an express cool function for the top spec variants. But on this XM variant, all those features are non-existent. Instead, you only get a button for electronically opening the tailgate. So if you press that, the tailgate, the boot will be opened. Just below that, you get this typical console where you usually get the 12-volt charging socket and the USB port. However, it's quite weird to see that Tata Nexon no longer gives you an option of aux port, which used to be available, but now it's not available. I don't know why. Maybe because the times are changing. Nobody is using aux connectivity for their smartphones anymore. You can simply use the Bluetooth. So that is all about that. Coming further behind the gear lever and the multiple drive mode rotary knob, you get a lot of cubby holes and storage pockets, where usually on the top spec model you get a center armrest with a tambo door mechanism, but this variant lacks that. Instead, you get a lot of storage options, cup holders and knick-knack storages, so that is quite nice and thoughtful. This variant, as I'll show you, lacks a height adjustable driver seat. You can just adjust the driver seat for recline and forward and backward motion, and of course you get a tilt adjustable steering wheel. You do not get a telescopic option yet on the Nexon and even on the Altroz. So overall driving position is quite commanding. It is high, and you can literally look upon other small cars on the road, because that Nexon of course is set quite high on the road with a ground clearance of around 209 mm. So that is exceptionally good for off-roading and rough patches. Coming to other features on the driver door, you get to see all 4 power windows, which is quite nice to have. and of course the driver window does not get one touch down function, this being a lower variant. However, this variant gets auto folding ORVMs, which is a nice feature to have. It is a premium feature but still is available on this entry level XM variant, so that is nice to have. Again, coming to the roof, this car does not get a day night switch for the IRVM, which is a basic feature, but still somehow Tata Motors have cut costs on that. And the sun visors are of a standard size, with only the passenger side getting a vanity mirror. That is also helpful up to a certain extent. And you also get LED interior lamp on all variants of the Nexon and the Tiago and the Tigor. So that is fine. However, the positioning of this interior lamp could have been at the center, just like on the Tiago. Instead, they have just provided one cabin lamp only at the front with no sort of lighting for the back seats. I don't know why, but it is okay. Maybe you have to opt for some aftermarket interior lighting for the back seats. So that was all about the features at the front. Let me just open the glove box. This here is the massive glove box of the Tata Nexon, and it does not have cooling function on this variant. Only the XZ variant onwards you get cooling function for the glove box, whereas you get a lot of nice storage pockets over here on the glove box lid itself. You get a card holder, a pen holder, and this pocket to store your first aid kit, and these are a couple of cup holders. So it is nice and thoughtful, but could have been better executed. But still, the glove box is quite very large and very useful. You also get nice 1 liter bottle holders on every door of the Nexon. Apparently you have to tilt the bottle to store them. It is fine though. And you also get standard umbrella holders inside the front doors, so that is also nice and thoughtful. This here is the key for the XM variant of the Tata Nexon. It is the exact same flip key seen on the Tiago as well. It has a follow me headlamp button at the center, and that is all. If you long press the center button, you can also pop open the trunk using the key itself. Now let me just get into the Tata Altroz XZ top spec variant's interior to compare its features. Getting inside the Tata Altroz XZ, you immediately find the advantage of these wide 90-degree opening doors. Even elder people can easily reach the driver's seat and make themselves comfortable inside. So this here is the interior of the top spec XZ variant of the Tata Altroz. It is also the exact same interior on the XZ optional variant as well, because the difference between the XZ and the XZ optional is only the dual tone contrast black roof. So coming to the features, let's start with the steering wheel. Of course, you get the very same flat bottom steering wheel as seen on the Nexon, Tiago and the Tigor. However, this being the top spec variant, you get nice superb quality leather wrapping, similar to the top spec variants of the Tata Nexon as well. You also get steering mounted audio controls with a voice command button, and on the right side you get cruise control functions as well, which is available from the XT variant itself. Just behind the steering wheel you get to see the very same headlamp stalks, which on this top spec variant of the Altroz gets automatic headlamp function, and even the wipers get an automatic wiper function as well. So these are features exclusive only for the top spec variants of the Altroz. And another exclusive feature is this semi-digital instrument cluster, which has a 7-inch screen similar to that seen on the Nexon EV and the Tata Harrier, and it provides you with a lot of information. Let me just turn on the push button start. And this is how the instrument cluster looks like. It is quite vivid and really good in terms of display quality. It provides you, of course, with the similar kind of data seen on every other car. However, you get additional features such as connectivity with your touchscreen system. Whatever you play in that will also be displayed over there. As you can see, it now displays that FM is being played with the specific station, and that is very helpful. If you play any media using Bluetooth or USB or whatever, that will also be displayed over here. And if you are using navigation through Android Auto or Google Maps, that also will reflect over here in terms of turn by turn direction. So that is also quite helpful. And apart from that, everything else is quite similar. Let me just try navigating through the displays. This here is the instantaneous fuel economy and the average mileage, trip meter A, trip meter B, power and torque meter, and the settings, of course. So it is quite helpful, and it is futuristic when you compare with any other premium hatchback in its category, and even when you compare with the Tata Nexon itself. You also get multiple drive modes in the Tata Altroz. However, you do not get a sports mode. You only get an economy mode.
Economy drive mode activated.
And a city mode.
City drive mode activated.
So these are the only drive modes available on the Tata Altroz, petrol and diesel for now. Only if the turbo petrol gets launched, that engine will have a sport mode option. But this is all you get for now. Coming to other significant features on the Tata Altroz XZ, you also get a 7-inch touchscreen system from the XT variant itself, along with the reverse parking camera, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and 6 speakers from Harman. That includes 4 speakers and 2 tweeters, which sound really great. However, it is no match for the 8-speaker system seen on the Tata Tiago and even the top spec Tata Nexon. But still, this system is almost the same in usage, and even the reverse parking camera quality is almost the same. So as you can see, it also gets adaptive guidelines, as you can see, which is quite helpful while parking. So that is nice. And you also get voice command functions for say controlling the air con, the climate control, the FM, the media, and even calling your contacts and messaging them. So that is also quite helpful while driving. Now let me just try using the voice commands for you. Set temperature 20.
Setting temperature to 20.
Now as you can see, the temperature has been set to 20, and if I want to change the FM station, you can also do that using voice command. Tune to 91.1 FM. So that's it. It has automatically tuned to 91.1 FM. You basically don't have the need to take off your hands from the steering wheel and even the gear lever. You can just easily use the voice commands just like that. So that is quite helpful. And of course, talking about the climate control, this is the climate control console, now standard from the XT variant of the Altroz itself. It works quite well, and this top spec variant also gets rear AC vents, which I'll show you once I get to the back seat. Just below the climate control console, you get a superb quality 12-volt charging socket lid. So that is a bit better in terms of quality than the Tata Nexons. And you also get only a USB port, no aux port on this top spec variant. This here is the smart key for the Tata Altroz top spec XT and XZ variants. This is quite similar to the key design seen on the Nexon top spec variants as well. And it also gets a trunk opening button and follow me headlamp button. So that is quite standard. And let's just keep the key aside for now. And you also get to see interior ambient mode lighting in the storage pocket in the center console, as you can see. And you also get ambient mood lighting around this center console island panel, which is what Tata Motors like to call this specific floating panel, and in the footwell as well for the driver and the front passenger. So that is quite nice. However, you do not get multiple color options, but still this is a feature not yet available on the Tata Harrier and the Nexon as well. So that's all about that. This here is the 5-speed manual transmission as against to the 6-speed manual transmission on the Tata Nexon. Both the diesel and the petrol variants of the Tata Altroz get only a 5-speed manual transmission. There is not yet any sort of AMT or automatic transmission available on the Tata Altroz on any variant. So that is a thing to be noted while looking for a car. So this here is the button for the economy mode, as I already showed you, and this car also gets nice storage options. This being the top spec variant, you also get a center armrest which can be adjusted, unlike the armrest of the Tata Harrier and the Nexon. And even though the storage space underneath is quite small, it is good enough, it is okay, but the armrest is quite comfortable and gets a nice superb quality fabric padding. These here are couple cup holders on the Tata Altroz. On the lower variants, this console itself is quite different in design. You don't get a center armrest for the front seats, and it is totally different. Now coming to the seats, these seats are reasonably comfortable. However, they lack under thigh support when you compare with the seats of the Tata Nexon. In comparison, the Tata Nexon seats are almost sofa-like. You just like to relax in those seats on the Tata Nexon, which is simply brilliant for long distance cruising. However, the glove box is almost similar in size, and on this top spec variant you also get interior illumination for the glove box along with cooling function. You also get a secondary tray on the above so as to store your laptops or mini tabs or something, so that is quite nice. And just like on the Tata Nexon, you get various storage options on the glove box lid as well, such as couple cup holders, pen holders, and a pocket over here. Everything is nice and thoughtful. And another thoughtful thing on the Altroz is the umbrella holder on the front doors, similar to that seen on the Tata Nexon. So that was all about the features on the dashboard. Let's now come to the driver door. Similar to the Nexon, you get all 4 power windows and auto folding ORVMs, which are electronically adjustable as well. However, on the top spec variant of the Tata Altroz, from the XT variant itself, you get one touch down function for the driver window, which is nice to have, especially while going through toll booths. On the right side of the steering wheel, you get of course the push button start, and other buttons include the front fog lamp button, the rear fog lamp button, and this here is the button to turn on the automatic engine start stop function, which is exclusive only for the XT and XZ variants of the Tata Altroz, so as to improve the mileage. And of course, this being a top spec variant, you also get a height adjustable driver seat, unlike the XM variant. The Altroz itself is quite a low set premium hatchback. Now when you compare with the Tata Nexon's position, it is quite low, and for that some people may need to adjust their height, and the height adjustable driver seat helps dividends for them, so that is nice. Coming to the roof, of course, this being a top spec variant, you also get a day night switch for the IRVM. You get better quality sun visors with a vanity mirror only for the passenger side, and only for the top spec variant of the Tata Altroz you get an interior LED cabin illumination, which is quite weird because even the Tiago's entry level XE variant gets an interior LED light, whereas the Altroz's basic variants, as you already saw on my videos, gets only a yellow small interior cabin light. I don't know why, but it is okay. And this here is a sunglass holder similar to that seen on the Nexon. This console itself is exactly the same seen on the Nexon, which I already showed you. And another feature I would like to point out is the height adjustable front seat belts for the top spec Tata Altroz variants. The Nexon also gets height adjustable seat belts for the front passengers on the top spec variants. So that was all. Now let's get to the back seats of these cars to check out the overall space, comfort and differences. Now I'm in the back seat of the Tata Altroz top spec XZ variant, and this is how the dashboard looks like. It has a lot of premium features, including automatic headlamps, automatic wipers, ambient mood lighting and voice commands, of course. And coming to the overall space, however, you can see that the space is quite decent. I am not a small person. I am 5'10" for reference in height, and I have adjusted the driver seat for my height and comfort. Despite that, I have really good amount of legroom, good enough to stretch out my long legs, and I have even good foot room to stretch out under the front seat as well, which is quite nice and thoughtful. The headroom is also pretty good. The cabin width is also pretty good for 3 adults, so that no one will be feeling uncomfortable. And even the floor is quite flat when you compare with the Nexons. As you can see, there is just a very small hump on the floor. It is nothing at all. Even the middle seat passenger will feel comfortable in this car. And you also get couple rear AC vents only for the top spec variants of the Tata Altroz, and along with that you also get a 12-volt charging socket over here. So these are quite nice features to have. Along with the rear AC vents, you also get a center armrest, which does not include any sort of cup holders in them, which is quite weird, but still the positioning is quite nice and comfortable. Once you get seated inside, you will perfectly feel comfortable for any sort of long drive. And you also get rear adjustable headrests only on the top spec XZ variant. And even the Nexon XM variant over there does not get rear adjustable headrests, as I will show you in a couple minutes. Before that, let me just cover all the other features in this back seat. You get nice 1-liter bottle holders in the back doors of the Tata Altroz as well, and you also get nice fabric padding on the armrests. You also get 4 metal finished door handles, which are quite nice to look at, but once you touch them, you immediately will feel that they are not metal, these are just plastic. And that is all about the back seats. Overall, it is quite a spacious back seat, similar to any other premium hatchback. In fact, it is a bit better than the rear legroom seen on the i20 as well. So it is quite nice and comfortable. However, the only thing I feel lacking is the under thigh support, which is simply very less when you compare with the Tata Nexon's back seats, which I'll just show you once I get over there. So let's just get to the Tata Nexon's back seat right now. I'm right now in the back seat of the Tata Nexon XM mid-spec variant, and this is how the dashboard looks like from the rear seat. It may not have a lot of features as seen on the Altroz top-spec variant, but still it has got almost all the essential features you will need on a compact SUV. Now coming to the overall comfort, however, the Nexon is simply a couple levels above the Tata Altroz because the overall under thigh support is way better. The overall support, the backrest angle, everything is perfect. It is just like being in a sofa at your home. So that is how good the Nexon's cabin is. The legroom is also a bit better than the Altroz's. The overall ingress and egress is also better due to the higher positioning of this car, and it is simply a much more spacious car and much more comfortable car than the Tata Altroz. However, you do not get all the creature comforts seen on the Tata Altroz's top spec variant. You do not get rear AC vents. Rear AC vents are available only from the XZ variant of the Tata Nexon, and similarly you do not get a rear center armrest, and neither you get rear adjustable headrests on this variant. However, what the Nexon has as an advantage is the availability of multiple safety features. The Tata Altroz also gets really good safety features with a 5-star global NCAP safety rating. However, the Tata Nexon additionally gets a few safety features over the Altroz. Both these cars of course get dual airbags with ABS, EBD, corner stability control, pre-tensioner equipped front seat belts, and ISOFIX child seat mounts as standard across all variants. However, the Nexon additionally provides electronic stability program, traction control, hill hold, rollover mitigation, electronic brake prefill, electronic brake disc wiping, and hydraulic brake assist as standard from the XE variant itself. So these are active safety features as compared to the passive safety features such as airbags and other things. So in the safety aspect, both these cars are equally matched. However, I think the Nexon will be even more safer on roads due to its higher positioning and more active safety features than the Tata Altroz. So that was all about that. And apart from these features, you also get 1-liter bottle holders in the rear doors. However, you again have to tilt your bottle to place them inside properly, and you also get rear power windows, of course. And that's it. That's all the features available in the back seat of the Tata Nexon, but still it is a much more comfortable back seat than the Tata Altroz's despite the lack of certain creature comforts. Now let's open the bonnets and talk about their respective engines and powertrains. Under the bonnet of the Tata Nexon, you get a turbocharged version of the very same 1.2-liter Revotron 3-cylinder petrol engine seen on the Tata Tiago. This engine produces 120 PS of maximum power now with the torque figure of 170 Nm through either a 6-speed manual transmission or a 6-speed AMT gearbox. This engine is now much more smoother than before and better in overall refinement as well. While the sports mode delivers around 120 PS, the eco mode delivers around 85 PS, with the city mode delivering around 100 PS. The ABS control unit of this car has also been updated to include electronic stability program, traction control, hill hold, rollover mitigation, and various other active safety features. Now let's have a look at the Altroz's engine bay. Under the bonnet of the Tata Altroz, you get to see the very same 1.2-liter non-turbocharged Revotron 3-cylinder petrol engine carried over from the Tata Tiago, producing around 86 PS of maximum power and a torque figure of 113 Nm through a 5-speed manual transmission only for now. While this engine may be adequate for day-to-day driving, on the Altroz this engine does not feel enthusiastic. The Altroz also receives multiple driving modes, including an economy mode and a city mode. While the city mode produces 86 PS of power, the economy mode limits the power delivery up to 75 PS only. While the Tata Altroz does not provide electronic stability program or traction control, all the variants come as standard with ABS with EBD and corner stability control. However, when compared with the Nexon Turbo Petrol, the Altroz definitely is better in terms of economy. Now let's take a look at the boot space of both these cars. The Tata Nexon XM's boot can be opened by pressing the center button on the flip key, and that's it. It is as easy as that. And opening the boot, you get to see 350 liters of luggage capacity, which is quite the segment standard today. You get a very large and wide opening along with a properly square shaped loading bay, which can easily swallow some large suitcases. Other nifty features on the Tata Nexon XM's boot space is the availability of a boot lamp along with two 3 kilo hooks on either side for your shopping bags. Tata Motors have literally thought about everything on the Tata Nexon. Opening the boot floor, you get to see a full-size 16-inch steel spare wheel along with the jack and toolkit. The tire is also of the exact same size as all the tires. To increase the overall luggage space, you also have the option of fully flat folding the rear seats. And on the Nexon, to do that, you have to first fold forward the rear seat bases and then you have to fold the backrest. By pulling the tags on either side, you easily get an almost flat floor. You have a certain amount of step, but still the overall luggage space provided is very useful for very large items. Now let's take a look at the Tata Altroz. Since the Tata Altroz XZ variant gets smart key access, you just have to press a button to open the boot, and once you open it, you get 345 liters of overall luggage space, which again has got a wide opening and a very usable square shape. Despite being just a premium hatchback, the Tata Altroz is only 5 liters short of the luggage space provided on the Tata Nexon. The Tata Altroz also provides the option of fully flat folding the rear seats, and of course for that you need to have the headrests at a lower down position, and that's it. It is as simple as that. Although not as large as the Tata Nexon's cabin, the Tata Altroz provides really good amount of space for even larger luggage. Instead of providing two hooks on either side, the Tata Altroz provides one single hook on either side for your shopping bags, whereas the boot lamp is located on the left side only. Under the boot floor, you get to see a 14-inch steel spare wheel, which of course is a space saver tire as against to the 16-inch alloy wheels fitted to this car. So in terms of boot space, the Tata Altroz does not compromise much when you compare with the Tata Nexon, and is also spacious and flexible. Now let's talk about the pricing. So that was a detailed walk around comparison of both these cars, the Nexon XM and the Altroz XZ. Despite the fact that both these cars are Tata products and both are in the similar price range, both these cars offer exceptional value for money in their own aspects. Though they are from different segments, both the Nexon and the Altroz are very strong players in their own segments, and that is what can easily confuse buyers. And for that confusion, here comes the conclusion. If you want a safe, solid and robust car that can easily seat 5 well-built adults at reasonable comfort, with more preference towards advanced safety features than fancy features, while also providing solid performance with decent rough road capability, the Tata Nexon XM should be your pick at a price of 7,70,000 ex-showroom. However, if you are in the market for a trendy, sleek and stylish looking car, which can occasionally seat 5 people without compromising on luggage space, with preference towards overall features and interior quality over outright performance, the Tata Altroz XZ should be your pick at Rs 7.4 lakh ex-showroom. So ultimately, just like I said before, your decision depends on your needs and requirements. Do let me know in the comment section below what do you think about this comparison and which one would you pick among these two cars. Meanwhile, this is Viprajesh signing off. See you on another video. Thank you for watching.